Now, pastoral moment, hear me out. Leave room for God's sovereignty and suffering in the world, okay? It is not always God's will to heal. There are people who say horrific things to those who are suffering. If you only had more faith, then your child wouldn't have died. Listen, don't you ever say that to somebody. Don't ever say that to somebody. Number one, you're going to be judged for every word you speak. Have fun with that one on Judgment Day, right? You know the kind of people who say that in the Bible? Job's friends, right? The Lord rebuked them. He has anger burned against them because they were foolish and did not speak rightly about God. So don't be saying that. Number two, you don't know the secret plans of God's will. That's for God to know. Number three, there is a great mystery between God's sovereignty and human free will. I found if you overemphasize one or the other, if you neglect the other, you end up in a bad place. And I find there's some people who they so emphasize God's sovereignty and God's planned everything, they don't pray at all. Because why? God's already planned it all. It doesn't really matter what I pray. All God's will is going to come to pass. That's wrong. The other people, they so emphasize free will that they just got like this unbearable burden. If I don't stay awake and pray every minute of the day for weeks on end, then God won't heal. It's kind of like that scene in Schindler's List, remember, where he's like really overwhelmed with grief at the end because I could have gotten rid of this pen and saved the Jews, and I could have done this and saved the Jews, and I could have done this and saved the Jews. Listen, no human can bear such a burden. Humans must remember God has the ultimate say-so. God knows best. He sees things that we don't see. Here's the place you should end up. I am God's child. He loves me. I have a relationship with him. And God gives me good gifts simply because I am his child. Listen, this must be the basis of faith and prayer. That he's a good father who cares for us, and we know if we call on his name, he will hear our prayers. So why can I pray with confidence for the sick? Because God's good. God likes to heal people. He's kind. That's the basis of my prayer. And if God doesn't answer, you know what? It's because he knows that there's something better. He's doing something else. But I absolutely know God can heal and that he likes to heal. And so if someone ever tells you, man, this bad thing happened in your life because you didn't have enough faith, here's what you should say to them, okay? Man, this bad thing happened in your life because you didn't have enough faith. You could say, oh, that's maybe true. Or maybe it's because you didn't have enough faith and you didn't pray for me. Right? It's just as likely as their fault as it is your fault. You might as well throw it right back on them. I've never seen, besides this point, I've never seen a Christian family member who doesn't pray for their sick loved one fervently. So, Christian, yes, the amount of your faith matters, but don't forget, mustard seed faith does great wonders. And as Christians, life is not about avoiding suffering. No matter how much faith you have, all of us will someday get sick and die.